So shift tactic number 3, do more with less. Leverage. Leverage is a word that outside of the Keller Williams world, you don't hear much. Inside the Keller Williams world, you hear leverage a lot more, right, Anne Marie? You probably never heard that word before you got here.
Pretty much you're right.
Yeah. So leverage is something that, leadership just doesn't say to its agents. Leadership is something, leverage is something leadership actually says to each other 3 or 4 times a day. Because I'll try to do too much stuff and somebody will say, you got to leverage that out. Or Christine will try to do too much stuff and they'll say, you got to leverage that out. Because when you get inundated with the mundane, you forget to do things like we talked about the last one, you lead generate, lead follow up. Without those 2 things, you're sinking. Cutting expenses and finding your margin doesn't necessarily mean slashing quality or delivering less. That's something across every sort of business you can ever imagine. Even literally every business, the horse world, cutting your expenses. Can you feed the horses with lower quality feed and supplement it with more alfalfa, but you cut your expenses by 50%. Back when we were going into quarantine, the higher ups at KWRI said, make 3 buckets, and your have tos, your have nots, and your maybes. And everything that's have not, you don't need to spend money on. You just literally take that and throw it away. And then between the 2 buckets left is you go through the maybe and say, do I need to spend money on this or can I cut it out? Because, if you didn't have a mom that said a penny saved is a penny earned, missing, but doesn't necessarily mean slashing quality or delivering less. There's things out there that some agents spend money on twice, be it, a CRM. There's a lot of agents that use a CRM outside of Command. Command is something that is growing. It might not be up to the pinnacle of CRMs in the world, but more than likely, Command is doing just as much as what you're using your outside CRM to use, and you're paying double. There's an agent that I talked to that I think they're spending $175 a month, and they're using so little bit of their CRM that it's crazy. It's crazy to me that they're spending almost $200 a month, almost $2,400 a year on something that they're using so little of. So, yeah. Your goal should be generate leads at the highest possible level with the least amount of resources. That sounds easy, right, Anne Marie?
That's right. Just falls from the sky.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah, not.
Ask yourself how you can execute a task with less effort and expense and still maintain high effectiveness. Your goal should be to generate leads at the highest possible level with the least amount of resources. I mean, that strikes to me that strikes to me of your sphere, your sphere of influence. Just reaching out to friends, family, people that you sold houses to, people that you have a nice relationship with. They're more than likely to ready to give you the best leads that you're going to get, instead of spending money on Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com or Redfin or whatever crazy stuff that's going on right now. Realtors have the fascination with lead generation, and we don't have a problem with lead generation. We have a problem with lead follow-up. So, your best source of leads are probably your sphere and the people that you have the easiest conversations with. When the market shifts, your organization must shift too. A market shift is an opportunity to evaluate, update, and top grade your business, an unsolicited gift of the shift. That's so true. I mean, look at us right now. We're on Zoom. Back before COVID, I didn't know what Zoom was. I heard of Skype. I think I was on Skype once or twice before COVID, but Zoom is something, and it's one of those where, if we didn't act accordingly and pivot to Zoom and offer our meetings online, you guys would all be sitting in the classroom and I'd be staring at you. But we're able to do this and have an opportunity to talk to people. And look at the speakers that we've had on our meetings. I mean, we've had Monica Reynolds from Austin, Texas. We've had Mo Anderson. We had Jason Abrams, Mark King. We had the president of Keller Williams International on our own private market center meeting. So it's definitely given us an opportunity. And then to update and top grade your business. I mean, what have we done with showing houses? I mean, how many people have shown houses digitally? You walk through with a video, you FaceTime a buyer from a house. It's taught you how to streamline the showing process because you didn't have buyers that would go in houses. You were able to walk through the house by yourself and maybe weed out houses that your buyer was going to spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes in a house that they didn't want. You guys all remember walking into a house and the very first words from your buyer is, this house is just really ugly. I don't like this house. But then, an hour later, you find yourself still at the ugly house and they're still tearing the house apart. And you're wondering what you're doing at the house. Why did we even come in the door? Like, you hated the house. Why am I here an hour later? So, it's a way to streamline things. Back to the basics, the 6 core competencies of business: lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments, present to buyers and sellers and get agreements, show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing, manage the money. As realtors, what do we struggle with on there? I know number one is probably manage the money. We all get that commission check and we say, okay, I got a $12,000 check. Let me go to spend $11,800 of it and I'll save $200. Like, that's the first thing. What can I buy? I've been there. Definitely, 22-year-old, 23-year-old, 24-year-old real estate agent. Definitely been to the part where we forget to manage the money. Lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. Present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. That's buyer's agency agreements. Not everybody uses those. Those come in handy. I got a phone call from one of our agents last week that he met buyers to let them to the house. And when he showed up, they were his buyers with another realtor looking at the house that he just showed him 2 days prior. So, there's a reason they're out there. Change is good. It's good for the advantage it can give you. I like change. That's why we're realtors, right? We don't want the same mundane things every day. I don't even know if I sit at the same desk every day. Now more than ever, your personal actions, your people, and your systems must be focused on the 20% that matters. 120%. That is very true. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Is that going to get me to my goal? As leadership, we're focused with it. Sean says it to us, our operating principle, what you're focusing on, is that going to get us to our goal? Well, no. He says, well, maybe you shouldn't be focusing on it. It's one of those where, unfortunately we can get wrapped up in the mundane activities and just be busy for the fact that we think we're being busy. I talk to realtors outside of our company and within our company that, busy, no time to talk, busy. Nope, I can't have our coaching call this week. We're busy. And you look up their production and they're down. They made more money last year and we're producing more last year, even though we were shut down, than they are right now. But they don't have enough time to sit down with you to have lunch and talk about their business and what they're doing because they're so busy being busy. And I know how it feels. I mean, how many people write a to-do list just to check it off? I mean, I find myself writing things that I've already done just so I can put a check mark next to it, so I can feel more accomplished. So, I mean, it's one of those where, It's true. You got to focus on the 20% that matters, because the other 80% doesn't make you money. Christine, am I going on number 4 too?
Go for it, Tom.
Yep.
Find the motivated. I like this topic. Find the motivated. I mean, you got to find the motivated in everything you do, not even real estate. You got to find the motivated, the contractor, the plumber, the electrician, the landscaper that actually is motivated to do work. Whatever you're hiring for, if you're hiring for your own business, you got to find somebody that is motivated and wants to make money and wants to succeed and has motivation to get out of bed and motivation to do well and motivation to grasp what the goal is and run for it. Lead generation, that's all about finding the motivated. Who's motivated to move? Who's ready to enter this crazy market? Who's ready to cash out at the height of the market and maybe sit on the sidelines for a year and then buy once the market settles down? I just had that talk with an agent upstairs where, he said, everybody that wants to sell, they have to find something else and they can't find anything else. They said, well, maybe you concentrate on something else. Maybe you concentrate on the barrier islands. Those people don't have to buy something else when they can sell. They can cash out at the height of the market, sit on their porch in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and watch the market come back to realization. Then you reach out and call them and sell them another house, but they cashed out at the height of the market. We're blessed to live along the shore where there's second homes everywhere. Those people are more than capable of cashing out at a 60% profit for what they just spent on their house. You don't have to find them anything else. If they want to, great. If they don't, oh well. Fewer leads, fewer showings, and increased days on the market. The minute these signs show up, take notice. Now, I do want to point out that this book, Shift, was written by Gary Keller. It was written, published, and sent out for distribution right when the last shift hit the market. So 2008, this book really came out. Now you ask yourself, how did Gary Keller get a book out, published and written out on the shift when the shift is just happening? How is that able to happen? Because when he was in his top agent masterminds, his top team masterminds, his top leadership masterminds, they kept saying fewer leads, fewer showings, fewer, increased days on market. Something's coming, something's coming, something's coming. And instead of putting his blinders on and saying, no, we're making money, everybody's making money, just like right now. Everybody's making money. You drive through a real estate office, you see a whole bunch of new cars in the parking lot. Everybody's making money. But what some people aren't seeing is fewer leads, fewer showings, increased days on market. If you haven't paid attention, the days on market has increased. I mean, we're actually on days now, not hours for days on market. So, they're here. If your leads are diminishing, then not all of your lead sources are working. Figure out what is and isn't bringing you business. If it's not bringing you business, cut it. There's no sense in keep paying for something that's not bringing you business. If it's not bringing you business and you're in a contract and you can't cut it, reach out to the business and say, listen, this is not bringing me any sort of business. What can we do about the cost? Why am I paying for something that's not bringing me business? Is something broke on your end? When things open up like this and you're seeing it, that's why you track your numbers. You can see what's bringing you money, bringing you business, what's not. If you're able to cut it, take the money from what's not bringing you business and put it into what is bringing you business. Allocate the funds where it's working. Successful agents block personal time, lead generating time, and planning time. It's very true. I mean, you walk through the office and, Howard Winters, that he is going to be on the phone from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. If you knock on the door, he's going to basically tell you he'll come get you at 11:30 when he's done making his calls. No matter what, it's going to happen. And there's going to be days where there's so many reasons for him not to get on the phone. He has 10 closings today. He has, 3 buyers consultations and 4 listing agreements or 4 listing presentations today. But they're going to be scheduled around his lead generation time. Because if he doesn't lead generate, he doesn't have those appointments. And you got to understand that. There's always going to be a reason not to do that. In speaking with one of our youth cohorts that's in the building, there's going to be a reason why he can't practice basketball. and he's got to overcome that. You might show up and the floor needs mopped, the floor needs cleaned. He's got to do that. There might be a day he shows up and the lights aren't working. He's got to overcome that. Instead of just packing up and saying, "Oh, can't do it today," you got to find a way to make it happen. Identifying what currently works and doesn't work is one thing. Knowing how to build an effective lead generation program is something else. That is the key to real estate. Effective lead generation. It really is. I mean, if you have leads coming in, if you have good leads coming in over and over and over, a steady stream of them, it's like Willy Wonka with the chocolate river. You know, it's just something that's just great and keeps coming and keep everything happening. But you got to identify, you got to know it works. You know, that you might not build the effective lead generation program because you have money spread out over other places and you're spending half as much as you should on one place because you have money being spent in something else that isn't working. First principle of lead generation messaging is that your message must match your market. That's 100%. That's 100%. I mean, there's so many different things that you can change your message to say that will match the market. And it matters between spring, between rental season, between fall, between December. You know, there's so many messages, and it's got to match the market. What's going on with the market? You know, right now at the height of the market, you know, your message could be, you made an amazing decision to purchase when you did. You know, you have a ton of equity. Are you interested in maybe cashing out the equity and buying another house? You know, give them the options. Let them know that their decision to buy at the time they did was amazing, and they have many different options in this market. Messaging is built on the proven idea that people will contact you if there's some direct benefit to them. That's where you got to offer the options. You know, do we want to cash out and buy something else? Do we want to sell something and move to a smaller house? Do we want to sell something and move to a bigger house? Do we want to just cash out and move back to Pennsylvania, live in Pennsylvania without a second home for a couple months or maybe even a year? You know, let them know the options. You know, on the Barrier Islands, you know, do we want to develop the property here and now? No. You want to sell this house and move 2 blocks away from the beach and get a bigger house so the grandkids will come visit with the air conditioning? No. Okay, do we want to just sell this house and you move back to Delaware County and live happily ever after? You know, take your $300,000 that you made here and take a cruise around the world. You know, give them an option, paint a picture of what they want to do. You know, a lot of these people on the Barrier Islands that have these older homes that we can develop are older people. You know, they're blue collar workers that have owned the house forever. They don't picture that they're able to move, like cruise around the world or you know, take a cruise through Alaska or, you know, buy a RV and travel around America for a year. You know, they don't know that. So if you're the person that offers them, you know, their life's goal, you know, their life's dream, then they're gonna love you. In order for you to truly be a successful lead generator, you must actually do lead generation. You must do it every day. You must do it several hours every day. You must do it every work day for the rest of your career. You must ramp it up and keep it up. It's true. There's always going to reason. Like I told that young man that, you know, wants to play basketball. There's always going to be a reason why you can't do it, and there's always going to be a reason why you can't lead generate. You know, maybe the internet's down or your phone's acting up or something, or there's always going to be a reason why. You know, driving to work, you know, there's always going to be a reason why you can turn around and go back in bed and watch South Park all day. You know, there's always going to be a reason, and it's up to you to know why you're doing it. You know, maybe you find out your why. You know, hopefully everybody knows their why by now. You put a picture of your why by the phone on the wall, where when you're done and you want to hang up the phone because somebody told you to go get bent or something like that. You look at that picture and say, do I want to not provide this for my family because that person told me to go get bent? No, I'm going to pick up the phone and keep calling. What's going to keep me going? Maybe a picture by the phone, maybe a picture on the wall. Find out your why. Maybe if you had a really rough day, maybe you get in your car and you drive by a private school that you want to send your kids to one day, or that you are sending your kids to school, and drive by and say, this is why I'm, beating up the phones. This is why I have to keep going, and go back and jump on the phones and keep doing it. Or go back and jump on the internet and keep finding leads, keep generating leads, because without it, you're in trouble. Ramp it up and keep it up. I like that. Not Steph. Sorry, Steph. Christine, does that mean I'm through everything?
Yes, sir.
That was quick.
It was quick.
That was faster than normal. So what sort of questions do I have? Anne Marie, what do you take away from all that?
I don't really have a question on that. I just think reading the book is probably a good supplement to that. It's always about the why. What's the why? And, knowing you're going to get distracted and just keep making the phone calls. I just keep making the contacts until I get the leads. I get the leads, and every single, 3-5 times a week, I have face-to-face appointments. As long as I keep doing that, I know I'll still be in business.
Yeah. Matt Lube, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
What do you take away from all this?
I have sort of a question. You said at the
I
end,
love questions.
you said paint a picture of what they want to do. Like when.
So paint a picture of what they want to do is because, if you are dealing with shore property, a lot of these people that own these older homes at the shore bought the homes when they were blue collar workers, literally policemen, firemen, garbage men, work on the trains in Philly, all that kind of stuff. And the market has gone so crazy that they can sell these houses and do things that they never dreamed they could do. A blue collar worker never dreamed that he could sail around the world, take a cruise around the world with his wife. They never thought that they could send their grandkids to some prestigious college. They never thought that they could buy a motorhome and go across the country. They're just, how you get stuck in your position in life and you think you're stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, nobody I know would cruise around the world. That's just crazy. So you paint a picture of what they're able to do with their proceeds. And it really, it's life-changing for some people. I did it when I was in production in Seattle City, where it was an older couple. He loved telling me the story that when he bought his house in Seattle City in 1968, his family literally wanted to have him committed. Literally, they wanted to commit him for buying a house in Seattle City. We sold his house for like $1.1 million to a developer, and he literally was a fireman. He was a retired fireman from Philadelphia, and the man probably didn't even know how to write a check for $50,000, but here he is getting over $1 million into his account. So you actually have to help him understand that he has $1 million to do whatever he wants with it. So it's you're painting their dream. Maybe their dreams to stay on a barrier island, but buy a house where it's bigger. It has air conditioning. Instead of a 3-bedroom bungalow, you sell them a 5-bedroom house that has air conditioning that the grandkids will come visit them in. We're lucky enough to work in an industry where we can, make people's dreams come true, with things like that. And unfortunately, they don't know their options, and that's where you have to let them know their options and let them know what they're capable of doing with the proceeds, which is life changing. So, as Bob McClay would say, you're building a dream, no, a lifestyle, right? That's what Bobby says. I sell a lifestyle at the beach. What else?
That's it. Thank you very
Comments?
much.
So how's business for everybody?
I think it's a little bit slower, but it typically is when it's, 90 degrees in July. That's not unusual, I don't think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Seen things slow down, seen days on market come back to not normal yet, but still days on market is starting to climb back up. And we're seeing this without the influx of REO properties.
Yeah.
So if we're seeing this without the influx of REO properties, we know once the REO properties get introduced, slowly but surely they're going to start being introduced. That I don't think we're going to see a crash, but I definitely see we're going to see a correction.
Well, the best time to be selling is really February to June. So most people, especially with kids, they've kind of settled.
Mhm.
So now I think we just get a lull, and then it'll pick back up again mid-August, maybe mid-September. Then we'll see.
Matt, Luke, what do you think in the market?
Yeah.
I'm in a youth cohort training, so I'm not really
How
out
come
there.
you're not on camera? You're a youth cohort. You're not on camera.
Hey,
Yeah.
come on, get in there.
Come on.
Show us your face. Come on. Be brave.
I was charging my phone.
There he is. Hey.
So what does your shirt say? Wins what?
It say wins start here.
Very true. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Wins got to start somewhere. It starts with lead generation, right, Anne Marie? Without lead generation,
And then you get the lead, and then you put it into your system, and then you follow up a little bit. Then you get another lead, and then you follow up, and before you know it, you get some appointments.
so
It's a numbers game.
I'm going to write something. I always get in trouble for writing them.
Uh-oh.
And, I'm going to show you guys. So
Yeah.
lead generation, follow up, and then the settlement process. And I'm able to write this because they use this a lot with KWRI. So like the upper echelons of KWRI, right? So I think I should be able to write it. But everybody gets so inundated, just the fascination with lead generation. All they want to talk about is lead generation. And it's not the lead generation that we have a problem with, it's the lead follow-up. And I think that's why they just use the initials F up, because if you didn't follow up, you'd F'd up. And they said that's where everybody's losing. Everybody's losing with the follow-up because they want instant gratification. They want a lead generation source to email you a lead. You call that lead and they say, I want to buy this house. And that's it. And when that doesn't happen, you get disillusioned with your lead generation. So you need another lead generation source because you think the next lead generation source is going to be the one, the savior that sends you a lead, and just you call that person and say, I want to buy this house right now. Cash. Sell in 14 days.
That is so rare. That is so rare.
It's you.
I'm sure you've been in the same scenario. I've worked with people for 3 years. 3
Yeah.
years. I might have shown them 30, 40, 50 houses. 3 years.
Yep.
So they're not my only people, but I certainly serve those kind of people. So it doesn't always happen that you get a cash buyer and they close in 14 days.
Yeah. I mean, it never, it's like hitting the lottery. Yeah, that is equivalent to hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
And you don't hit the lottery every week. And unfortunately, realtors get into the sense where they're going to be able to find a lead generation source that will provide those leads. And they keep, they just have that fascination, lead generation. But you're getting a lead. You're getting a lead, and you're not getting a lead from a homeless person. So that person probably owns a house and they're going to buy a house every 5 to 7 years. So you need to follow up on that person. And we offer the automated things to follow up on the person for you. You literally come in, you see that your smart plan to them worked, it went out through command, and you sign on to command, and you have a task once a month to reach out and call the person. If you send that person 2 emails and you reach out and call that person once a month, and you do that for a year, you're in the top like 10% for realtors as far as follow-up goes. That's how bad our follow-up is in the industry. So craziness, right?
Well,
What'd you say? You broke up?
once a month doesn't seem that bad.
No, it's not. It just,
Oh,
realtors get spoiled.
We might want to change that, Tom, to follow through, and we'll call it FT, like that's full-time work. That's
Yeah,
the
you're
fun
right.
part, you know,
Yeah.
follow through. Full-time is the follow through. You say you're gonna get somebody a painter, you're gonna recommend a moving company, you're gonna tell them, give them a smart plan. You gotta follow through and do that. Because I think a lot of us, and I know I'm guilty of this, is I overpromise.
Yeah.
And say I'm
Yeah.
gonna do something, and my intention is to do it, but then I get distracted with all the other things, and I don't follow through. I can kind of song and dance around that a little bit, but then there comes a place where your words gotta be impeccable, right?
And they do. And, I shared a story when I was in the business in Seattle. A company called Landis Company came into town. And they decided they were going to take over the rental market. And honestly, not many people cared. And we just sat there and watched them take over the rental market. We didn't care. That was rentals. Okay, they're taking, 20 grand out of our company's pocket, but that's it. They're doing rentals. But what we didn't realize was that they were slowly eating us to death because they were building a connection, a rapport with these owners. They were being everything for the owner. They were going there and checking the thermostat. They were going there and doing this and going there and doing that. And they were building a relationship with the owner. So when the owner got ready to sell, they weren't just a rental company anymore. They were a listing company because they had the relationship with that owner. They were everything for that owner. So when that owner went to sell, they went to the company that was everything for them.